Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Welcome to my channel. This is the TD Watkins Show. And today I wanted to talk about women that date bisexual men, but then I changed my mind because I saw on Tammy Roman's show that she was talking about people that dating people that are separated. And that's me. As I think I told you on a previous broadcast, I thought I was divorced, but I'm just separated. And she really had some good points on her broadcast. She was saying, for instance, that if you date someone that's separated, then know that they may go back to their spouse, that you may not end up being the main one or the only one because that person is just separated, no matter how good their intentions are. And I started thinking about when I was dating last year, and I was separated. And if you know from my previous video, I had no intention of getting back with my husband, but his brother died. My brother-in-law, and I talked about all that in a previous video. But when we did get back together due to the death, I immediately told him at that time, because I was seeing someone, so I had to tell that other person, hey, I'm gonna try to make it work with the husband. But I also told the husband that this will be your last hurrah. If we can't make it work this time, because it's not that he's a bad man, we just live two different lives. Sometimes you outgrow one another, especially when you've been married for 28 years. And people are like, you've been married so long, why would you leave? But if you're not happy, why would you stay? Just so you can say, oh, I've been married so long. So what? So what? People have puppies a long time. And what does that mean? So I told him that if it didn't work, that this would be his last hurrah. We would stay friends, but we wouldn't try the marriage thing again. And so what really, really made me really think about something was when I was watching Tammy Roman. I was just watching it yesterday because, like I said, I had a whole nother topic. And when I was watching it, and she was saying that when you date someone that's not completely divorced and they're just separated, you have to protect your heart. And she's right. If you decide to date someone, this is my wine, you all, and I have cherries in it. It's not too bitter, but it's not too sweet. I like a little bit sweeter, but it's okay. But but I am legally separated. And I still have the papers for that. I'm legally separated. So my house is my house. What's mine is mine. But she's right. When you date someone and they're not all the way away from that other person, which I was away from my husband. I hadn't seen him in a year and a half during that time. But they're not all the way away from that person. If something happens because they have family, kids, grandkids, or whatever, and it puts them back together, you may be the person to lose out. It just is what it is. You may be the one that either gets set on the back burner, or they tell you, like I did completely when I told my guy, hey, we're gonna try to make this work. He's having to come back. He's having a hard time getting through this death of his brother, and so I'm gonna be there for him. And that hurt my friend. And I think about that right now. I still think about that because I never want to hurt anybody. But you also have to be honest with that person. And you have to be honest with your feelings and what it is you think that you want and where it is that you want your relationship to go. Because when I was out there dating last year, I just was having fun. I wasn't looking for another husband. I don't never want another husband. It's too hard to get out of it. Never, 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 never. You keep your house, I'm gonna keep my house. We can hook up, we can go places, we can have fun, we can fly places. and that's it. But as far as being my husband, no way. But and then dating over the age of 52, that's different. This is a whole different ball game. But I can't say with dating over the age of 50, you know exactly what you want, you know what you don't want, you know what you're willing to put up with, and you just know yourself. You should anyway. You should know yourself at this point. You should know the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself. And if you don't, then you're not doing something right. But I was just thinking, how can a person truly protect their heart if they're dating someone that's just separated? How do you how do you do that if that person is spending all of their time with you and then all of a sudden they're gone? And it's not that they were using you as a placeholder, because Tammy Roman felt like, um, if you were dating separated, that you were using a person as a placeholder. That's not what happens. That's not what happens at all. But life happens. Y'all, please subscribe to my channel. Please like my channel. And please tell other people about it. We're grown over here. We're of a certain age over here. Anybody's welcome. But we're of a certain age over here. And over here, I feel like we need to talk about what's happening in real life. And I also feel like we can't judge, what's good for you might not be good for me, and what's good for me might not be good for the next person. But I think as decent humans, we should talk about it. And I feel like it wouldn't be any different than a man that was, because while I was out dating, I met a man and he's been separated for over 15 years, but the way that his wife set it up, he could never divorce her because she needs to get his insurance. He retired military. He also retired from a car manufacturing plant, and she gets a lot of money, and she gets his benefits, so she'll never let him go. And he was recently, we're still friends, and he was recently telling me that he had met a Hispanic lady and she wants to get married. And he was real into her last summer. And but the more she was pushing and angry with him because he couldn't get a divorce, because he did go and see if he could get this changed. And the way that it was set up, because he wanted out of his marriage so much, he let her lawyer set up everything. He signed his papers, and the day that he divorces her, she'll get his house. And she already has a house that they had. She'll get his house. She'll get his entire pension. She already gets half of one. She'll get the other one too. She set him up for such a okey doke that I feel like any lawyer that went along with that, even though it was her lawyer, was a snake. Was a snake. So his girlfriend is upset because he can't remarry. But he told me, said, after dealing with her and how pushy she was, he doesn't want to get remarried. And he was like, I like her. We're gonna try it again, because they had broke it off. And he said, we're gonna try it again. He said, but I don't ever want to get remarried just because of the way that she treated me. I know that that's not what I want in my life, and I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's okay. And for some people, they're not going to be able to date someone that's just separated. They're not, because they need the security of knowing that that person is divorced, and that's okay too. But I can tell you this: just because a person is divorced doesn't mean that they won't go back to whoever their spouse was. That person has to actually be divorced in their heart and their head. They can't just be divorced on paper. If they had a really tough divorce and the female did not want that divorce or whatever, and she starts dating another guy, every time that ex-husband says, I want to see you, that's where she's going to be. I was friends with mine, so I was divorced not only in my head but in my heart, and I've been separated from him in my mind for years. So I just wanted to let you all know it's okay to protect your heart any way you can, which we can never as humans truly protect our hearts. But you can start out trying. And so if you feel that dating a man or a woman, whichever you prefer, but if you feel like dating a man or woman will be too much for you because they're just separated, then don't do it. There is nothing wrong with protecting your heart. And some people date people that are just separated because they don't want to make a full on commitment. And that's okay too. I feel like life is so short that we don't have to do these relationships in the traditional ways that I was taught to do it. You must get married, you must have kids, you must buy a house, you must. We don't have to do that because look at all the separation and divorces. People, do whatever it is that make you happy. As long as you're not hurting anybody, then you do what's best for you. But be honest in everything you do. Keep your integrity and be honest in everything you do. Thank you again. Thank you for joining my channel. I appreciate you. I adore you. And if you have any comments, please feel free to comment. I look every day to see if I have any comments. I look every day. And if I have any, I will respond back to you. If you think I'm wrong about it, let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's just be respectful and let's talk about it. Once again, this has been the TD Watkins Show. And thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me for another broadcast. Thank you.